Ladies and gentlemen, hello.
We took it out of the box. It's time to play with it.
That's Boss Battle Tim.
Adam Ronin, right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's right.
You should be well versed in what this is. We're going through the Qanba lineup. This is the second to last stick that we're going to go through.
I know, we're coming to an end.
We are coming to an end. It's been a wild ride with these sticks.
And there's a surprise at the end of all of them.
That is a surprise.
2 surprises, actually. I was thinking of a different one. There's 2 surprises I got for you now. All kinds of surprises.
Actually, okay.
Now he'll be surprised too.
Yeah. I think we'll also do a review on the Qanba bag, the Guardian.
That was one of the surprises. You ruined it.
My bad. I didn't know.
Cat's on the bag. The other one's a better surprise.
Cat's on the bag. That's fucking clever.
I'm gonna put a cat in the bag for the review.
Okay. So we're gonna get right into it, guys. You wanted some more stuff in reviews, so we've got some more stuff for you.
That's right.
So let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the build quality on the Qanba drone.
So this, I would say, is probably we're getting into like the really budget-friendly option.
So this is $79.99, am I wrong?
That is correct.
Okay.
$79.99.
Okay.
This one is very different than the other sticks that we've reviewed so far because it's really, I think it's like the only one that's truly in like the Qanba PS4 licensed mini line.
Right.
The other ones are full-size sticks. This would go head-to-head against like the Mad Catz Alpha or the Hori, cleverly named Mini. Those guys are on a fire over there.
Price-wise, it's a little different. I think the Mad Catz Alpha and the Mini are $49.99, or were at their...
I think you can probably get the Mini for around $39 right now.
Yeah.
I think when we bought the Alpha, it was like $59 on launch, and I think it was like $79. Like, it's floated all over.
Yeah.
I think it's like $79 right now. So those are like your direct competitors to this guy. In fact, we're going to do a small shootout video on these as well and kind of talk about the pluses and minuses that will also be covered mostly in this review.
That's true.
So in terms of build quality, it does not have sandwall stuff. Right, that's like one of the first things there that is a little different from the other lines that we've talked about, and I think that's what brings the price down.
Because these are direct Qanba buttons.
Right, they're a proprietary button as well as their proprietary stick. Now, that being said, that's not a bad thing because as we found out when we did the Crystal review, they were actually really responsive buttons.
Yep.
Which made it a good time to buy.
That's true.
You played well.
Now, they do sound different, and it could be a combination of the paneling and the buttons and stuff, but it's a very loud stick. Like,
this thing makes some noise, I'm not gonna lie. And like I said, I think it might be just as much this tiny plastic casing
I think
that is gonna like make it like kind of resonate a little bit. We'll find out when we open this up, because in this review, we are actually going to remove the back panel. We're gonna show you what it looks like to like switch out buttons and things, because I think that's probably gonna be one of the first things people wanna do.
That's right. And do you know what that's a sign of?
What is it a sign of?
That's a sign of when you guys request something, we take note, because this was asked by a couple fans if we would open it up in the review, and we're doing just that for you.
Absolutely. So in terms of build quality, I mean, this is a solid plastic molded piece.
It's solid.
I think it's going to withstand the abuse of, playing and then you set it on the floor and it gets bumped around a little bit. Or where I think I might take this direction with this stick would be if I was going to give it to like a little guy to play.
Right, because you got a little man yourself who you're digging into the fight games with, and so you got your fancy sticks, and you're like, hey, little guy, take this.
Right, and that's really cool because that is maybe even a bump up for him from the Hori Mini, which is smaller, and you'll see like when we do the shootout, size comparison is actually pretty noticeable between these guys. So this is not a TE2, but it's not a Hori Mini either.
Yep. So
this guy, even at the price point, it still has all of the features that you're going to find in its big brothers, right? So it's got
-1.
That turbo button though, right?
It's got that.
Yep. Galaga players. Yeah. Just sound like this now, which is better.
That is better.
Yeah, because that's loud. It's going to have your options. It's going to have the lock, so if you're playing in tournament, it's going to have the ability to turn this guy off so you don't accidentally bump one of these. That is a potential risk with this stick because these are very close.
Especially if you get nervous, your fingers are fidgeting.
Yep.
Boom, DQ'd.
Yep, right there. Back in the day, this used to be an invincible button for Ryu. So if you were slamming that DP, you're slamming options.
And you're being not DP'd, you're being DQ'd.
That's right. That was clever. That was on the ball, man.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So I would actually, on my other sticks, I've never used the lock feature. I'm nowhere near it. While I am kind of a heavy-handed player, I'm not like a all-over-the-place guy, Like I'm heavy-handed, but I'm like very tight. With this one, use the lock feature.
Yeah, I use the lock feature on my TE2 because if it's on my lap, like it's dangerously close to my knees, like touching it. So, get in the habit of it, most certainly. And, it's got the PS3, PS4 dual mod stick. The one thing it doesn't have, like its brothers and sisters sticks, is the touchpad for the PS4.
Right, and that was like, even that's been commonly removed. Like on the TE2 doesn't have that. You have to get the TE2 Plus if you want that. It's a really cool feature to have the touchpad, just because you can reset your practice mode a little bit faster, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that you're definitely going to cut out if you're trying to bring the price of this guy down. The next piece is the weight. This guy is not heavy in the slightest. I would definitely say that if you're looking for like a heavier stick, out of the box, this would not be it. It's a very light stick. It's under 3 pounds. This is like a tiny cat, right? What you could do is, there's a back panel here where you could maybe place some weights on there if you wanted. You could open it up and glue some on the inside to try and create some weight. I'd be scared if something were to break free and start rattling around. But it is an option because you're on a budget, right? So I really want to try and hit that home, that there's a lot of ways to make this stick work for you. Right, so if I hold this stick up and I compare it to the Dragon, it loses across the board, but I feel like it's a really unfair comparison.
Hey, you can't compare them at all.
So I want to really review this for what it is. And what it is a budget stick that's really light. It's a little smaller, it's kind of in the mini line, and it's going to work really well for, I think, for people who are getting their first fight stick.
Absolutely.
Or somebody who I spoke with recently had a big boy stick, and that stick had passed on.
Continue.
Yeah, it had a good run, but it couldn't make it anymore. And my man was on a budget, right? We're broke gamers, right? So what did he do? Is he took the guts out of that stick and he placed them into this one. So what this did give him was a cheap shell and a cheap PCB that he could just plug and play and get right back into the action. Because the last thing you want is downtime, right? So it worked really well for those two types of gamers. And that's who I want this review to be geared towards. Right? I'm not going to say like, oh, yep, I saw Daigo playing with this last weekend. It's probably going to be a top-of-line stick. It's not who it's geared for.
Exactly. So if you had watched our other reviews like the Obsidian or the Dragon or any other review and you're like, I picked up that stick, it was great, this probably isn't the one for you because you're already in the stick market.
Right.
This is for those of you that haven't pulled the trigger yet or you're looking for some extra modding capabilities.
And that pulling the trigger is a big one because if your first time on a stick, it costs you $250. That's a little rough to try something out, especially if you don't have a strong local scene where you can be like, hey man, can I try that? I want to see if I'm any good with a stick.
Yeah. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, okay, so the PCB could be swapped into a better stick, but how is the PCB? Well, you know what? You asked for it. We give you those tests as well.
So we did some basic primitive tests. We talked about this in the prior reviews. We're not going to get crazy technical with these. Basically, we run a whole series of averages in a very primitive way, and this is not quite as fast as like a TE2, which has still been the standard, I think, in my opinion, in terms of PCB speed, but it was competitive. Right, it was still in there. We played matches with it. I used this. You used your TE2, and I was more than capable of winning. So we've talked about this before.
Because you're better than me, but
that's what we talked about before. It comes down to
skill,
the skill level. Right, you're not going to be able to like just pick this up and be like, oh, I lost because of the stick. You lost because you weren't as good as the other guy.
That's true.
End of story.
And that's what it always comes down to.
So you can get better. You could play on this stick out of the box as is and become a better player.
That's true.
Right.
He makes a great point.
So maybe you buy this as your first stick and you don't know anything at all about modding, which is very fair. A lot of people don't. So you get cruising on this guy and you're like, maybe I do want to get into modding a little bit.
Because why not make it your own, right? You want new buttons, you want to swap out the colors, maybe you're not a big fan of yellow.
Right. So if you're not a big fan of yellow, sorry.
True.
But I would say is that you could play on this for a good period of time and kind of, get your feet wet with a fight stick as is out of the box. And you could you would understand the concepts of how it works. You could get your inputs down, and you could become at home with this button layout here. And then once you decide you want to mod it, it has those capabilities that you can go in and switch some things up.
But how, Timmy?
Well,
how?
Why don't we show you guys?
Okay, cue transition. So one thing I would like to just point out in comparison to other sticks is sticks always usually have pretty similar lengths of cables. We found that this cable is a bit shorter than your average length. So you're looking at about 9 feet on other sticks. This stick's cable length comes in at 7.5 feet. So it's a bit shorter. If that's something important to you, it's important that you know that.
One of their features is that they also make a PC stick that is built to have a desk clamp onto it. This guy has the capability, as you can see here and here, and then these little plugs down here, to actually hold those feet. So you can have those, and then it clamps onto your desk. It does not come with that out of the box. Those only come with the carbon. I'm not sure. I would imagine if it has those, that you could probably buy them. I didn't see them on 8ARC's website, though.
Yeah, so you might want to tweet them and see if you can buy those like a la carte, if that's important to you, but it does have the ability to put those on. So it would surprise me if they didn't sell them on their own.
So, is this a buy for you?
Well, let me tell you, I have some opinions.
Go. I want to hear them.
Yes, it is. It's a great introduction stick, and it's good for modding and stuff like that, as you saw. But here's the thing. No slight against the stick, but I do find that it would be better suited at $49.99 or $59.99. $80, $79.99 to me is maybe a bit of a stretch when you can, like the Alpha and stuff is a very comparable stick, and as you'll see in a shootout eventually. So, you know, if you're really on the fence, you might want to wait for a discount. But, you know, if you're ready to pull the trigger, you're just not sure, yes, it's totally a buy.
Okay. So, just talking to the price point of this $79.99, I'm not sure what it goes into making that. It might be, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm sure. I feel like if this is my first fight stick, and I spend $80 on it, there's probably a lot of people that are going to be like, you gotta have sandwas, bro. That's all there is to it, right? And I feel like if you're in $80 and you're probably already going to replace some things, then...
And you might look at jumping up to the 150 for the crystal. You know,
exactly, yeah.
You know, you're going to be very similar there.
Right.
So just to reiterate, yes, it's a buy, but if you're already well into sticks, maybe pass it over just because, you know, it's not the stick for you. But yeah, it's definitely take a look at it, you know.
Is it going to replace my, you know, my obsidian? No.
No, God,
no.
Obsidian,
Yeah, I love my obsidian. That's beautiful.
Great.
But if I'm playing on my obsidian and you came to my house, I'd have no problems being like, here you go, dude. I might have mentioned that it's a great first stick, but as you guys know, we're somewhat of collectors. There's legitimately piles of sticks around this place.
We have a lot.
I said it's not going to replace my obsidian.
No.
It's not going to replace my TE2.
No.
For tournament purposes. So I don't really need this stick. Do you need this?
No, because I like my TE2. I really like my hitbox. And,
yeah, he's a hitbox guy.
You know, so no. And we gave Gordy the crystal.
We gave Gordy the crystal. He's got one of those now.
If we wanted to play on the PC, we've got the carbon.
Yeah, you know who's been asking for a fight stick though?
Everybody.
Those guys.
That's
those guys right there.
Huh. And let me tell you what. Here's a surprise, guys. Here's a surprise. I'm pointing at you, and this means you.
Cats in the bag. There's 2 of them.
Yeah, they're out now. The little cats are just scurrying about. We're going to give this stick away. This could be yours. Sometime in March, maybe mid-March here, once we kind of wrap up some things, we will be holding a stream on our live show, Boss Battle Show. We will be giving this stick away. There are some caveats. If you want to be able to win, 3 things. 1, be subscribed to the YouTube channel.
Of course.
We can check.
Yeah.
2, follow us on Twitch.
Yep. At R24Live.
Yeah, twitch.tv. 3, if you are a member of our Patreon, you have a significantly higher chance at winning. You'll be first entered in the drawing, and you will have greater luck as you
more entries.
Yeah. And you know, the bottom tier $1 gets you entry into the giveaway. So look out for that. If you guys are just kind of biding your time and you don't want to make the $70, come on and enter in the giveaway.
So for all those comments that are finally saying, give me a stick, fine.
We will give you a stick.
We'll give you a chance to win a stick.
And this is the first of really many cool giveaways that we'll be doing over the summer. So guys, you want this? You can get it. But what about questions?
Quick legal note, the warranty will be voided. We're going to poke a hole right in that stick.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we already did, because we wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what if they have questions?
So there's comments.
Oh.
Right, so you want to check in on those. Of course,
I see them piling up now.
The Twitter, right? Like those Twitters there?
Boom, boom, boom.
Right there. I like them. I just broke 1,000 followers. Can't believe it.
I didn't.
I'm like a popular kid in high school.
I'm not.
Yeah, come sit with me at lunch. That's the important one right there. Because if you want to be registered for, you click that subscribe button.
Yeah.
We'll know. Oh, we'll know.
Out.